Good morning. Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to Young Disciples for Christ Saturday Morning Chapel. I am so glad to be with you this morning. I am Pastor Emmanuel Lemmy Jr., pastor of the Friendly Will Baptist Church, and I'm thankful that you are joining me today. Thankful that you are here with me today. Listen, our Young Disciple for Christ Saturday Chapel, what we're planning to do is we want to help you develop your spiritual maturity. And we're going to do that by having Bible study, prayer, memory verse, and word for the day. Bible stories. We'll do prayer, memory verse, and the word for today. And I'm so glad again that you are joining me on this day, Saturday, September the 5th, I believe it is. I believe it's the 5th, something like that. Oh, here's my calendar right in front of me. It is Saturday, it's strange that I would have the 6th. Today is the 6th. Either way it goes, that teaches you that you got to look at your calendar and see what's going on. I'm glad. I again go back to what I said before, that I enjoyed Saturday mornings when I was young. And I would get up and I was so excited because I was, ready to watch the cartoons, have a little bit of breakfast, but ready to watch the cartoons. And so that's what I'm endeavoring to do, to help your Saturdays be a Saturday where your viewing experience will be an awesome experience. So let's get into what we're going to do today. Let's get into what we're going to talk about today. And I want to look at, first of all, we want to do our memory review. It's Saturday morning, so I'm waking up. I haven't had my coffee yet, though I don't drink coffee. So I haven't had my orange juice yet. So we're going to do a memory verse review. If you can remember what our memory verse was from the last time, it says, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." Who is the you? The you is God. The you is God. We are to put our trust in God whenever we are afraid, whenever fear comes in our lives. That's what we must do. Let's say it together. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Oh, wow, I hear you. I hear you. You sound so great in saying that. Thank you for saying it with such joy, Now we got a new memory verse. That's right. We got a new memory verse that we want to share. And our new one is from Psalms 101. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Listen. We have to make a joyful noise to the Lord. Why? Because God has been good to us. God has kept us. He woke us up this morning. This is a new day. It's a new month, and we ought to be excited about it. So make a joyful noise. And notice it said joyful noise. Noise can be, all kinds. There can be all kinds of noise. But a joyful noise is a shout. A joyful noise is a noise where you're just so excited about the love of God. And he says, all ye lands. That means everybody, every child of God ought to be making a joyful noise. That's what we should be doing. So let's remember that. Let's say it one more time. Let me hear you real loud and clear. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. I hear you. I hear you. Oh, you're saying it so well. Thank you so much. I love it. You got that shout on, and it's good to have a shout on. Well, let's look at the phrase for the day. Let's look at our phrase for today, and our phrase for the day is going to be coming from. We're going to be talking about David today. We're going to be talking about a shepherd boy named David, and as we get ready to talk about this shepherd boy named David, there's a word that we want to remember. And this word kind of deals with our story today. This word deals with what's happening in our story today. And so that word that we're going to look at today is a word that says bully. Bully. The word for the day is bully. Now, who is a bully? What is a bully? Bully is someone who hurts or frightens someone else, often over a period of time. That means a bully is one who's always mean. He's always picking on you. You know how you're in school, you say, I wish they stopped picking on me. Why is everybody picking on me? That's what a bully does. That's what a bully does. A bully picks on you. A bully, if he tries to make you afraid, he tries to frighten you, and it's with force, because it says, and often force them to do something that they do not want to do. That's what a bully does. The bully try to make you do something you don't want to do. And how do we handle a bully? Well, let's see what our story will help us today. Let's see what our story will help us as we learn this thing about this bully. And we're going to learn about a little shepherd boy. And this shepherd boy that we're going to learn about is a young boy named David. That's right, we're going to learn about David, because David is going to be facing a big old giant in his life. He's going to be facing someone who kind of a bully. He's kind of a bully. And so because he is a bully, God helps him in this situation. So our story today is going to be dealing with David and Goliath. David and Goliath. And I think you may have heard this story maybe on a time or two, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna look at what this story has to say to us today about little David. David was a little shepherd boy, a little boy who was keeping his father's sheep. David was keeping his father's sheep. And as we look at this shepherd boy named David, we got to know where it is coming from. Where is this story coming from? And so we're going to look at chapter 17 of 1 Samuel. In fact, chapter 17 of 1 Samuel. And there in this story, it tells us about this army, the Philistine army. They were an army that were fighting against Saul and the children of Israel. And as they were fighting against Saul and the children of Israel, they were afraid. They were very afraid. They were so afraid. Can you imagine having someone very tall and big muscles, and he was taunting them? He was making them afraid. They were so scared they wouldn't move, and all of those things. And he came, he says, I defy the armies of Israel. He was a bully to them. And this little shepherd boy named David, doing his job, minding his task by keeping, his father's sheep. He was watching over him. But David's dad came to him and said to him, listen, I want you to go and check on your brothers. I want you to take them some food. They're in the army, they're fighting. And so they're going to need some nutrients. They're going to need some strength. And so he sends David to go check on the brothers. And so David goes and he checks on his brothers. And as David goes and checks on his brothers, he sees what's happening. He sees that Goliath is standing tall, and that Goliath is, taunting the children of Israel and Saul, and they were afraid. They were very afraid. But David, the little shepherd boy, was not afraid. He was not afraid. Why? Because he said, I come in the name of the Lord. Even Goliath, he says, y'all send this little old boy after me. Y'all send this little ruddy boy. Y'all sending this little fella, and I will chew him. I'm paraphrasing. I'll spit him out, eat him, chew him up, whatever he's going to do. He said, I'm going to just take care of this little boy. But David was not afraid. You know why David was not afraid? Because David stood in the name of God. David stood tall on God. And so David said, hey, I'll go and fight him. And Saul tried to put armor on him, but it didn't fit. You can't wear your spiritual armor that belongs to someone else. You got to wear your armor. You got to put on your armor of God. You have to use what God has given you that will fit. And so David went against Goliath. He advanced toward him, and David got the victory. That's right. David got the victory over Goliath because he took his little old, his slingshot and a stone, because he had some stones in his bag, and he, boom, hit him side the head, fell down. And then David, to make sure everything was okay, make sure that there was true victory, David cut his head off. Now I know that sounds gross, but hey, that's a story. And so David got the victory. And out of all of that, guess what God did for David? Because he had already anointed him. God made David king. Now, David was a musician, but God made him king. He made him king over Israel because that was what God had appointed for him. That was his time. So now, as we look at this story, as we talk about this story, there's some things that we need to learn. In school they say, what is the moral of the story? We can say what is the spiritual moral of the story. But let's say the biblical application. How do we apply this story to our lives? Well, first of all, know that the Lord will be with you. Know that the Lord will be with you. No matter what situation you're in, no matter what's going on in your life, God will be with you. That's good news. That's good news to know that wherever you go, wherever I go, God goes with us. The other thing to remember is that we've got to have faith in God, and it will bring about courage. Faith in God brings courage. It'll bring courage when you're facing a Goliath. It will bring courage, as David says, I fought the lion and the bear. Little old shepherd boy fighting a lion and a bear. Why? Because God gave him courage. God gave him the strength to fight his enemies. And so that's what God will do to you as well, or do for you. The third thing that we got to remember is that with God, you can do the impossible. With God, you can do the impossible. This was impossible for David to do because Goliath was taller, stronger, meaner, tougher than David. But Goliath forgot one thing. He forgot that he was coming up against a child of God. And when the enemy comes up against the child of God, he shall not stand. He will never stand. And that's good to know, because we face impossible odds. You as a little child, you as a young adult, middle school, high school, you're going to face some impossible things. But don't have the idea that I can't do it. I don't know how. Look up to God and say, God, help me do the impossible. There's a scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And you know what? You can do all things through Christ. That's the key, through Christ. That means Christ is the agent. Christ is the channel by which we can do all things. I had a great time today. I am so glad that you joined me. I had a great time. I'm looking forward to next week, but I'm excited about today because we had a great time today talking about the little shepherd boy David, and then he grew up to be a king. When you have faith in God, here's the other thing for free. When you have faith in God, you don't know what God is going to do in your life. You have no idea. Listen, thank you for joining me for our YDC Saturday Chapel, our Young Disciples Saturdays for Chapel, and I hope you join me on next week. Looking forward to the time that we're going to have next week. Remember your memory verse, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Don't forget that, because you're going to need that as you go through life's journey. But thank you for joining me. Have a great rest of your Saturday and be blessed.